Ravens flock, what's going on? I hope everybody's having a good week so far. I'm back with a couple of quick updates related to the Ravens. I didn't post last week like a review or a post game thoughts about the Bengals game. I was feeling pretty good about it. I was riding high. I thought I was going to come back this week riding high again because I'm assuming we're going 3-0 and we were going to body the Colts, but unfortunately it didn't go that way. I was expecting us to put up at least 30. Like I didn't say it, but my score prediction was like 31 to like 15. I really thought we were gonna like handily win that game. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. I can't believe like we took a L to Gardner Minshew. Like we took a L to a rebuilding team, and it's not even like we got like destroyed. It simply boiled down to like the fact that we weren't executing when we needed to. And at times, we were just making what I thought was very weird decisions. But one of the main things that obviously I noticed was Zach Moss was running all over us. Now, that's not a trend that I expect to carry on all season long, but that was still pretty embarrassing. Zach Moss went out here, put up 122 rushing yards against us, was averaging 4.1 yards a carry. Like I was not expecting anybody not named Jonathan Taylor to come out here and put up those type of numbers against us. So it was really frustrating to watch that. One major thing that definitely bothered me watching that game was sitting back and watching Lamar run the ball 14 times. Like we're in 2023. We're supposed to be moving on into a new offense that's supposed to be evolving. We just watched Todd Monken do his thing at Georgia with less weapons than what we have. But yet the two glaring issues I'm seeing is, at least in this game and kind of in the last game, he's still at times trying to call quarterback runs like Greg Roman, and he's force-feeding Zay Flowers the ball, which, again, I'm cool with Zay getting the ball, obviously, because he's a playmaker and because he's so explosive and electric. But at the same time, like it's not making sense to me why we're not spreading the ball out more. Like Zay got 10 targets in this game. Now, if he was on fire and just going crazy, obviously it'd be a different story. But it's like he finished the game with 48 yards. He got 8 catches, but he finished the game with 48 yards. Now, obviously, most of his targets were like short yardage situations where they just wanted to get him the ball and let him do his thing. But at the same time, like we can't forget about Rashad Bateman. Like Rashad Bateman got like 1 or 2 targets in this game. Now, part of me is still thinking it boils down to the fact that they're trying to ease Rashad back in, like ramp him up. But now we're entering week 4. Like if he's not ready to really have a bigger role than this, there's a bigger problem. Like there's a bigger issue at play. There might be something else that we're not knowing about. Maybe the Ravens are trying to like secretly just like lower his value so they could just trade him. I don't know. But then again, why would you want to lower somebody's value if you're about to trade him? Wouldn't you want him to get more targets? Like I'm not sure what exactly is the logic here. But Bateman wasn't getting involved like that. Mark Andrews got kind of involved, but not really. He had 5 targets and only had, 4 catches and 35 yards. I was expecting, Mark Andrews to be the number 1 target, and here we are. Like what it seems to be a large disparity between who's getting the ball. I've seen like last week, it felt like we definitely had a better and more balanced distribution of the ball compared to this week. I would definitely want to see us get back to that next week because we can't keep just in my opinion, we can't just hope to just force feed the ball to Zay in short yardage situations and just hope that he just keeps making magic happen. That's cool, but in order for us to really hit our true ceiling with this offense, we gotta let everybody cook at some point. So that was definitely weird to see. And again, I gotta circle back to the fact that they had Lamar run 14 times. That's 2 games in a row where Lamar had double-digit rushing attempts. This is not the direction I wanted to see things go. And I know this is not the direction most Ravens fans wanted to see things go. At the end of the day, I was only expecting Lamar this season to run maybe 2 to 5 times a game at most. I only expected Lamar to put up like 500 rushing yards this year. That's really why, even now, because it's still early in the season, I'm still projecting him to finish the season somewhere around 500. But yet, we're already 3 weeks into the season, and they done rushed him they done gave him double-digit rushing attempts in 2 back-to-back games, and he's already at almost 200 rushing yards. That's not the direction I want to see, and I don't think that's the direction that it's going to take for us to really get to where we're trying to go. Obviously, a major play that affected the outcome of the game was that Kenyon Drake fumble early in the game, and it's sad because Kenyon Drake made a good play. Like, he caught the pass and went like a good 20, 25 yards after the catch, but he didn't hold on to the ball. It was sad to see, obviously, because we're so worried about Melvin Gordon dropping the ball to where Kenyon Drake ended up being the guy to actually end up doing us in. Also, Lamar had 2 fumbles in the game. One of them he did recover, like it was like basically a sack, and then he just kind of fell back on top of it. One of them, in my opinion, I don't maybe I just don't know any better, but for my eye, it looked like it should have counted as like the tuck rule. Like, it looked like he was throwing it forward, but they called it a fumble anyway. That's definitely something I want to see cleaned up, because again, it's been years since we've seen like Lamar like fumble at this high of a rate. That's obviously, like, if we're trying to get to where we're trying to get to, I really don't want to see that happening over and over again as the season goes on. Especially when you look at, in certain aspects, this could still very well go down as Lamar's best season so far. Like, he's still completing 73% of his passes, and he's second in the league in completion percentage right now. So he is showing that things are trending in a good direction in certain aspects. But again, I don't understand why they still trying to rush him 10 plus times a game, and why they don't want to spread the ball out more to everybody else besides Zay at times. And I like Zay, but again, I just feel like we have to be a little more careful with that. But at the same time, it was also a rainy day. Like, it wasn't the best weather game, so that also could play a role in it. And then also, obviously, we didn't play the starters in the preseason, so I'm trying to still remain optimistic because we needed time to work out kinks within the offense and get the rust off. But now there's really no more excuses going beyond this game, because again, the preseason is only like 3 games anyway. So now we're entering week 4. Like, things have to start clicking at some point. And we've seen flashes of it clicking. I just want to see it continue to flash and just keep getting better and better. As far as the defensive side of the ball, Kyle Hamilton is him. It's not even close. Kyle Hamilton is him. Kyle Hamilton almost single-handedly won us that game, man. He's definitely becoming one of my favorite players on this defense. Like, I completely got it wrong when we first drafted him. I don't even want to do this, but I got no choice. Like, I have no choice. Previously on Ravens Over Everything. Maybe y'all know something I don't, and that's cool, but y'all gonna have to explain it to me, because again, we just drafted Brandon Stevens last year. Still got Chuck Clark. They still got Darius Washington. They just signed Marcus Williams to a $70 million contract. So like I feel like that was a luxury pick and not so much a pick that was actually necessary. Damn. That's tough. I was not, when we drafted Kyle Hamilton, obviously, as you just heard, I was not too excited about it. I felt like it was a luxury pick. I felt like we really didn't need to go in that direction. That pick has already aged very well. My take did not age that well on that topic. In my head, it was a luxury pick, when in reality, it was the ideal pick. Obviously, Kyle Hamilton's better than all the other safeties we had outside of Marcus Williams. And especially considering how injury-prone Marcus Williams has been since he's been with us. Us having Kyle Hamilton, I definitely am excited about. It's made a major difference. Like, if Kyle Hamilton was single-handedly carrying that defense yesterday. Not yesterday. In the last game. So it was definitely exciting to see. He put up 3 sacks. And then also, even beyond that, going back to his rookie season all the way to now, Kyle Hamilton has shown a tendency to have a very good ability to get to the quarterback, even though he's a safety. That really, like, I was talking to Eye of Horus Torres the other day, and I was just saying, I was like, yo, I think Kyle Hamilton might be Jamal Adams, like our version of Jamal Adams. To me, it's coming off like he's Jamal Adams 2.0. And I've always, like, personally, I've always liked Jamal Adams and, like, the way he plays. A lot of people, they try to knock him and say, oh, he's not a real safety, he's a linebacker. Like, nah, at the end of the day, he could, like, these guys, they could do everything safeties do, but it just so happens that they're better than other safeties at getting to the quarterback when they need to. So I'm very excited about that. I see there's certain people, they're acting as if it's a bad thing. They're saying, oh, man, our best pass rusher is a safety, and that's bad. And it's like, look, first of all, he's not really our best pass rusher. You know, people are hurt right now. And at the end of the day, if he can fill in the gaps for some of our other guys who are kind of hurt right now and put up these type of numbers, I don't see a problem with it, especially when he still holds his own when he drops back in coverage. I don't see an issue with it. Brandon Stevens overall had a pretty good game. Like, he was everywhere. He made about, if I'm not mistaken, he had like 12 tackles. No, my bad. He had 11 tackles, but still he was all over the place. He missed on what could have been a very good interception, or at least a pass defended, which is not surprising because that usually happens to him anyway, where it's like he's almost there but just misses out. But then later in the game, he actually did make a very good play on the ball on what would have been a pass that would have put the Colts at like the 3-yard line. He came in and actually knocked it out of his hand. So he overall had a pretty solid game. But unfortunately, it still wasn't enough in the end to really get us over the hump. We went into overtime. We got some stops on defense, but our offense, unfortunately, it stalled out. Michael, even before, towards the end of that game, I don't remember if it was the fourth quarter or overtime, whichever one. Michael Pittman, unfortunately, made the best catch of the week against us. And that was definitely pretty frustrating to watch. You know, I was telling people a couple months ago to look out for Michael Pittman. Before we made the moves that we made at wide receiver this offseason, he was one of the guys that I thought we should at least consider bringing in, because I do think he's a pretty underrated receiver. But yeah, it's definitely tough to see him put up a crazy catch against us again. Because if anybody remembers that last game in 2021, he already, like, he literally embarrassed Anthony Averett. But as far as the ending of the game, that was clearly a pass interference on Zay Flowers. But what bothers me more is that we were in the position to allow them to get a pass interference in the first place. Like, that game should have easily been a blowout. Like, it's tough. Not only, even if we would have won, it still would have felt embarrassing that we narrowly beat a rebuilding team. But it's even worse considering that we ended up losing anyway. You know, but at this point, like, we got to keep it pushing. The season keeps going on. We got this next game coming up against the Browns. We got some good news over the past, like, more or less 48 hours. We just signed Kyle Van Noy to the practice squad. I'm assuming he'll probably be seen in the game, like, sometime in the near future. I know a lot of people in the offseason will really pull in for us to sign him, so he has been brought in. Marcus Williams, Tyler Linderbaum, and Ronnie Stanley have all returned to practice. Will they be ready for the game against the Browns? Possibly. I wouldn't count on it for any of them except Tyler Linderbaum, but again, I would like to see him. So again, we'll see, we'll see kind of what comes from that. And now we got to go next week. We got to keep looking forward, and we got to go play the Browns. I'm still expecting us to win, despite the fact that the Browns defense is playing lights out right now. They're allowing such a small, like, what? Hold on, I'm about to check the exact numbers real quick. Yeah, so right now the Browns are only allowing 188 total yards a game. Like, they're barely letting these their opponents put up points. But regardless of that, I'm still expecting us to put up 32. My score prediction is still 32-27. I'm expecting us to still figure out a way to get it done. Obviously, we got to get the ball out quick. This defensive line will easily be the best defensive line that we have played so far this season, just from Myles Garrett alone. So I'm expecting them to get the ball out quick, but I definitely think they have to obviously not run Lamar as much, but also not like when you're trying to get the ball out quick, you don't have to rely on just Zay Flowers. People forget how fast Rashad Bateman is. Like he runs like a 4.9, a 4.39 40. Now, is he as quick in short space as Zay? No. But at the same time, like we got options. So I'm still expecting us to pull out a victory here. We should be ending the month or starting next month 3-1. But again, let me know what y'all thoughts are in the comment section below. Let me know what your score prediction is for the upcoming game against the Browns. And let me know, do you think they will cut back on the QB designed runs?